Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and watching. We are the Real Shortbox Live. My name is Donald. Over here is Kevin, and beside him is Thor? I'm not sure. Thor, I guess? Thor? If you fell down and hurt yourself tomorrow, would you be Thor? Okay, I'll be here all week.
You know how you stimulate a woman from Asgard?
Oh.
Rub on her clitoris.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Wow, we're starting off the night with this. Oof. Oof. Wow. So I'm going to do some stuff in the background here, and Kevin is going to do the little talkie talk about what exactly we're doing here, and we're going to go from there. So, Kevin, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, whatever part of the 24 time zones you're in. Welcome to the Real Short Box. First, real quick, let me introduce the president and CEO of Rumble Spoon Productions and the executive producer of The Real Short Box. He's a man from the great state of Ohio, just returning from his home state from a long 2-week vacation. He is a Cleveland Indians fan. He is the #2 fan of the great actor Bruce Campbell. And let me tell you something. There's no greater lover of Ted Core than this man here.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is DC Comics for Life, the original Don.
Thank you. It's true. I do love DC. Yes, and I am amazing. So I appreciate that. I just want to say hello to Enrique and my mom and dad. Everybody say hi to my mom and dad. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Mom and
Mr.
Dad.
and Mrs. McKinney.
All right. Excellent.
And next, our special guest, returning for the third time now. He is a man who grew up in Southern California. He is the man who is the Ayatollah of modern comedy. He is a man that ladies love, and they have loved for so long. Let's give it up for our special guest. He is the sweet man himself, who knows the sweet science of boxing as well as comedy, Mr. Reza Asghari.
Thank you. Pleasure. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed to find out we're not going to be ranking the best 360 turns of Lansing, Michigan's most famous figure skater, Larissa Spielberg.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what is this show about if
Sorry.
not about figure skating?
Sorry you got confused there when we told you were going to be on the Spielberg podcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you know.
That was a long way to go for that one joke.
Yes.
I really hope it worked.
Right.
I really do.
Right. There's going to be one fan in here that's going to be like, fuck yeah. This is amazing.
Everything.
That meant everything to me.
That's how my comedy works. I move away from the general audience and I focus on one guy who's like, that joke had all the pieces I needed.
It's the niche crowd that you love, yeah.
Yes. No, it's just one guy named Nick. People pronounce it wrong.
Oh.
And of course, I am your humble podcaster, Supreme Chancellor, the Grand Master of the Jedi and the Vulcan Arts, Dr. Kevin. Tonight, we're ranking Steven Spielberg movies. A man who's been in the game for a long time, well over 50 years in the directing business. Considered a top 10 all-time great director. You know his movies.
Huh.
We're going to rank 20 of them. And
Really?
some of you are going to be pissed off at us because you're going to say, why is that number 10 or number 15 and number 1? You guys are idiots. That may be a possibility because this is a subjective ranking. So please, bear with us. If you're really mad at us, just blame Reza. He's responsible for the ranking.
Fair enough.
He's not on all the
I'll
time,
take
so
that.
yeah, definitely blame him.
I will say Spielberg definitely was pivotal for my first role in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh, yeah. I do remember you. You were Elliot, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I thought. Yeah. I thought you were Elliot.
Just more than anything, I'm like, give me credit for that sweet Photoshop work.
God, yeah, it's great. I've never seen it equal. It's excellent. Yes. My hat's off to you. Sort of. I'm not taking my hat off. It's too much work.
You literally take your hat off.
No. So, hello, Maria. And before we get started, I would like to give a quick shout out, a couple thank yous. I want to give a thank you to a Mr. Bergman Mr. Bergman was kind enough when him and his family went to Italy on vacation, picked me up this sweet Death of Superman.
Oh, nice.
In Italiano. So, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I'd like to give another shout out to Mr. Fox, Mr. John Fox here, who went above and beyond and was so kind to get me a bottle of tequila that is actually autographed by Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. So,
wow, nice.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a gift.
Thank you for that, sir. I very much appreciate it, and I want you to. I know you listen to the audio pod, so if you listen to this, you'll get your thank you there too. So, I appreciate that. Oh, my sister's there too. Hello, Stephanie. Hello,
Stephanie.
Hello, devil child. Troublemaker.
Now, if your other sister comes in, the whole family will be here.
She's not coming in.
She's not voting in person anymore.
Oh.
No, she's not gonna be here. She's not showing up.
I love that there's one member of the McKinney family that's just like, nope, I refuse to support the short box.
I don't have a brother.
Donald's always been your favorite.
Yeah, but it's true. But still, I mean,
I can see why. Look at that jaw.
I got like a little dimple here too that forms. So there's that. I get the little dimples, the slight little dimples. Adorable, right? Just adorable. This guy. I don't know. He's crazy.
Irish dimples.
Yes, the Irish dimples. They call those ermples. Dimpish.
I think dimpish would be better.
I got some dimpish going on here.
Although that does kind of make it sound like you have a touch of the D. Like, oh, don't bother Donald with the bright lights. He's a little dimpish.
Hey guys. 5 people
that
unsubscribed.
Should be a new character that you do, dimpish Donald.
Yeah. Hey. Who wants to vote on stuff?
There's no way that's getting canceled.
Yeah, that's not gonna last. Yeah. So, let's get started. Let's get moving along on this list. Geez, let me pull up the actual list here of the photos.
Starting at number 20, which is the terminal.
Yes, we are starting at number 20. And number 20 on the list is the terminal. So I'm gonna put in number 20. Okay. Amy Walsh, thank you for coming. And Enrique, thank you for reminding her. So number 20 on the list is the terminal. Now, I put that over. It just popped up over Kevin's face. I'm sorry, Kevin. So we're gonna put it above you here, so everybody could see. What'd you think of the terminal, guys? It's number 20. We're not listing everything Steven Spielberg has done. That just didn't make sense to me. Some of it merits mentioning, some of it doesn't. And I'm gonna say right now, I'm sorry to AI, for example. It did not make the list. I'm sorry to the BFG, which I always thought meant big fucking giant, but I guess it doesn't. That did not make the list also. There's just a few things that, if they had made a few changes in the direction of the film, it would have been better. And it would have gotten listed. Also, keep in mind that we are not listing every single Jurassic Park film. We're not listing every Indiana Jones film. It's just kind of getting clumped together, and we're grading it accordingly. So, there's that, too. Just keep that in mind. So, The Terminal. Basically, it stars Tom Hanks. He is from a country much like Russia, or similar, a small country though, and his English is not so good, so I know that sounded more like Italian or whatever, but you just go with it. So he basically gets stranded. He was flying in for a funeral, and he was getting ready to leave the U.S. Unfortunately, his country was going through a civil war, and they had stopped taking flights, so he got stuck inside the terminal at the airport. Since he's not a U.S. citizen, he could not leave the airport because his visa for that amount of time or whatever had expired, and he was unable to go and step foot outside onto United States soil. So it's all about this poor son of a bitch being stuck inside of an airport and how creative he got with like ganking the vending machines to steal food, taking whores baths in the sinks in the men's room, annoying people for fun, just being a really regular, just great guy. There was a part in the film where there was some construction work that wasn't being done on a timely manner. So since he was there and he wasn't sleeping very well, he just got up and he finished almost all the construction. And the construction workers came in and was like, what the hell? And then he got hired, sort of. I think they paid him cash, or they paid him in like food or something like that to hire him to work inside the terminal also. So it became this thing. You have, let's see, Zoe Saldana was in this film. Diego Luna was in there. Kumar Palana. They played immigrants that were also working in the airport and befriended him. Stanley Tucci, even to a point, befriended him, even though he was the director of the airport, if I recall. And Catherine Zeta-Jones was in there, as well as Catherine Keener, who plays somewhat of a romantic connection with Mr. Hanks's character. So it was a cute little film. It had a budget of about $60 million. It did pretty well. Not amazing, but pretty well. I mean, it made over $200 million with a budget of 60, so that's not bad. You over double your money. Basically kind of triple your money. So, you can't really complain too much. It was a DreamWorks production. It was a Spielberg-directed film, and I don't know what else to say about it, but it's number 20, and I hope you guys enjoyed that description of the film. That is our last in the rankings, because it's cute, but just not amazing. It's cute.
Also,
it's cute.
Kind of based on an Iranian guy.
Oh, really?
That this actually happened to.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, that's true. It is based loosely on a true story, which, but so is Jurassic Park, so... I mean, pretty much everything Spielberg does is based on a true story. I just want you all to know that.
So even E.T.
Based on a true story, yeah.
Clearly, I verify that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Kevin, you really need to get with it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So
what you didn't know was E.T. wasn't like a CGI or puppeteer or anything like that. They just kind of airbrushed a small Filipino guy.
So you're saying that Alf is real too, then?
No, Spielberg did not direct Alf. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, and Alf stands for Alien Life Form. There's nothing with Spielberg in there. Hey, Janet, thanks for joining. Okay, so number 20 is The Terminal. So we're moving on from The Terminal, and we're going to go to number 19 on the list. Number 19 is a very fun film, one that I think Kevin is just chomping at the bit to talk about. Am I correct, Kevin?
Which one is this? This is the...
Bridge of Spies.
Hey, Gio, thanks for joining. Hey, Evan, thanks for joining. Janet, Gabe, thanks for joining. Yeah, The Bridge of Spies. Kevin, didn't you want to talk about this one?
No, I haven't seen that one, unfortunately, Bridge of Spies.
Oh, you piece of shit.
But I thought you saw it, Reza.
No, I am not familiar with it, but I can familiarize myself with it very quickly.
Okay, well, I happen to have seen it, so I could talk briefly about it.
And I'm not reading this off anything, but did you know Bridge of Spies is a 2015 historical drama film directed and co-produced by Steven Spielberg and written... Sorry,
Reza, you study up on this one, because I'm going to tell them the actual truth of what this film is. Now, Bridge of Spies, in 1932 Russia, they began a black ops program to train athleticism, if I could say it correctly, amongst the Ruskies to be able to plank. And in this capability to plank and interlock hands and hold each other, they would create what would be formally known as the secret code, or AKA the Project Bridge of Spies. Meaning that if ever 132 of them were caught, they could potentially get over a large body of water by creating a bridge out of these spies so they could get the head spy out over the water into safety. So,
that sounds like a boring movie.
It is a true story, of course. Spielberg directed it. It's a true story. We all know Spielberg only directs stories that are based on fact. So it's based on a true story. It is about spies that formed a human bridge. As you can see, Tom Hanks is also in this film. Spielberg could not make a film without Tom Hanks. It's a proven fact. He's been in every single one of them. Also true. The gentleman in the middle is Mr. Schmirkinson. He has a very large, smirky, kind of a sour demeanor on his face, and he's not happy because he was part of that bridge and he fell off. So
here's something that I just realized as you were saying that.
Yes.
Spielberg doesn't seem to get too creative with his names for stuff.
No.
Was this about? It was about a bridge of spies. What are we gonna call the movie? Bridge of Spies. Hey, that works a lot. What should his name be? Mr. Smirkinson?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going with it, Spielberg?
Yeah, it was written by Matt Charman and surprisingly the Coen brothers, which is interesting. And Maria would like to correct me. It's Academy Award winner Mr. Schmirkinson. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate that. But basically it was about during the Cold War. I wasn't lying about that. It did have to do with Russia. There was an American lawyer. He was recruited to defend, which is Tom Hanks, an arrested Soviet spy in court, and then help the CIA kind of facilitate an exchange for a Soviet-captured American U-2 spy. Was a plane pilot. So it's all about that, and it's about trying to figure out if this guy, if this spy, Mark Rylance, I believe is what his name was indeed a danger to the United States, or if it if it was a good investment to trade him. I know that sounds terrible, but that's basically it. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of court drama that takes place in it, and it's got a little bit of heart, but it is also just not amazing, which is why it's number 19 on the list. So Bridge of Spies got relegated to the back end of the list. So let's move on. We are going to...
Next one. I have the X one.
Oh, well, I will talk about this one, Kevin, actually. I am so sorry, Kevin. This is actually about underage children being told upon after-school program. I believe it's called Minority Report.
Oh, come on.
What?
That's incorrect. If anything,
are you sure it's based on a true story?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you know what's funny? You're actually right now. At this point in time, there may be some truth to what you said. This might become a real-life story because it's about pre-crime, based on a Philip K. Dick story.
Oh, was it a Dick story, or are you talking about the guy Philip K. Dick?
I'm talking about the guy, Philip K. Dick.
Okay, all right. Philip K. Dick's Dick story.
Yes.
It's about a bunch of bitches. What?
Please.
Mark bitches and Terry bitches. It was the Bitch Brothers. They co-wrote it.
Of course. Movie came out in 2002. Tom Cruise plays Chief John Anderton, pre-crime program officer. This is the time in the year 2054, which, by the way, fellas, we'll be 75 years old that year if we're still alive.
I will be. Kevin, I'm sorry to have seen you gone at that point, but I will be there, yeah.
Well, I'll just be around. I'll be around as like a hologram. I'll be a hologram at least. How's that?
Well, I was gonna make a locket out of whatever's left of your material.
I see. My material.
Well,
I love the way you said that. Whatever's left of your material.
Well, Kevin. He's gonna have when he goes, he's gonna have half of his possessions in his arms. He's gonna be like, no. And I'm just gonna
the Cherokee and Kevin
pour
is your buffalo.
Gasoline on him, so he'll get mixed in with whatever of his possessions burnt. So you can't really tell if it's all Kevin or if there's happens to be the first appearance of Blade in there also. You can't tell.
You never know.
Right.
You never know.
Right. Could be a bit of his penis. It could be Tomb of Dracula number 10. We don't know.
This isn't intentional, but the way you're very detailed describing burning a black person is kind of getting to your very, very white roots right now.
Oh, well, actually, Kevin and I did have a deal. Like, he's supposed to, if I pass before him, he's supposed to just roll me into a dumpster.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so it's like the James Bond movie.
Yes. That's part of the agreement. And mine is to burn him in effigy with all of his possessions wrapped around him, if I recall.
I didn't agree to that. I did not agree with that. I actually talked about being chronogenically frozen. Anyway.
Oh, I got confused. He wants to be frozen with the... Oh, you better remind me later, Kevin.
Yes.
Well, Reza got my back.
I'll be like,
well.
oops.
I don't know. If you're going to be frozen, I might jump on Donald's side when he freezes you, because then I'm like, hey, let's pose him in a certain way.
Well, Reza and Jarrett, they'll make sure things are done right.
Sure.
Anyway,
Are you kidding me? You shouldn't trust me with that. I'll just buy a giant meat box and be like, this seems cold enough, and just put you in there.
You'll be in an igloo cooler.
He's in the garage next to the deer carcass.
He's folded in an igloo cooler in the corner. I put some ice in there.
Get me some steaks. Slide Kevin over. Grab the steaks.
God.
It's crazy, man.
Okay, so Minority Report. Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Pre-crime. Basically, pre-crime, they have 3 individuals they keep in this building that has the ability to have precognition to tell if a homicide is going to happen before it happens or a crime's going to happen before it happens. And so, therefore, it was kind of cool is they can arrest people before they actually commit a crime. But there's a little twist that happens, throughout the movie where Mr. John Anderton himself is caught up, and he's being accused of a pre-crime. So you have to unravel the mystery as to what's going on. And he has to solve the mystery, and also there's a mystery going on with the precogs themselves. So it's pretty cool. And you have a great cast with Max von Sydow, Colin Farrell, Samantha Morton. Yeah, you can't go wrong here. Very fun, very powerful film. And in real life, they are actually developing a program that could potentially be pre-crime, pre-crime capabilities. It's pretty scary.
The big morality question became, are people capable of changing last-minute decisions? And
are you predestined? Are you predetermined?
Right. Are we predetermined to make these decisions? And that is where the thought process came in, which is why it's on the list, but also why it's so high up or low on the list, actually, is because while it was an interesting film, it just didn't quite fire on all cylinders. It wasn't perfectly cohesive like I would have liked it to have been. It even was a little bit bloated, if I recall. Yeah. And also, it's based on a true story, was a big stretch, I will say.
Now, would you tell it to Mr. Spielberg's face?
Also, this is the one film where Spielberg got confused and hired the wrong Tom.
Oh.
Oh, come on. He worked with Tom Cruise twice. What are you talking about? He worked with Tom Cruise a couple of times. So how can he get the wrong?
He thought it was Tom Hanks.
No.
Yep.
He's worked with Tom Cruise on War of the Worlds.
He got very confused. Yep.
No.
Yep.
No, he did not. He knows what he was doing.
Yes. No, he was just confused. He's a confused old man. It happens. All right. I will when I see him next at the next mixer for directors.
Next time you and Stevie are hanging out, that's what they call each other because they're buds.
Yeah, I get invited to director mixers because I've directed things. How about you, Kevin? Have you directed things?
I like one thing.
Oh, would you direct?
I was back in college.
You directed a sandwich into your mouth, didn't you? You didn't direct shit. Come on.
By the way, this is the most LA argument of all time. Yeah, well, what'd you direct? Oh, have you been on any auditions lately? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just hung out with Steven Spielberg's grandson's nephew. What about you?
Right.
I drank scotch with George Lucas's brother-in-law.
Oh, hey. Well, that's good. George Lucas's brother-in-law.
Funny thing that did happen to a friend of mine. He went to a bar and just started drinking scotch, and him and the guy next to him started talking and getting along. And the guy was like, "Hey, you want to hang out? I'm gonna go back to my place and hang out with these girls, and I got a bar there. You're welcome to come with us." He goes inside and starts looking around at the pictures and realizes he's hanging out drinking with Steven Spielberg's son.
No shit.
Wow.
Because Los Angeles. There's the only way to explain that.
Yep, that's true. And speaking of Los Angeles, you can't get any closer to LA than when you're talking about The Color Purple. Number 17 on the list. Kevin, take us away.
I thought Prince was like, the purple one.
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Okay, so if you watch the trailer for this, which I did because I don't believe I've ever seen this film, you will not care.
Wow.
It is boring. The trailer is god-awful.
Wow. Would you tell Oprah and Steven Spielberg that to their
Yes,
face?
I would.
Well,
I'd be like...
As well as the author Alice Walker.
I'd be like,
Here's
look,
the problem with that.
it's boring.
I agree with what Donald's saying, because the film itself is just so, like, just emotionally charged with so much stuff that there's only so much they can show in the trailer without it also being a little bit, like, graphic and kind of messing with people as a trailer.
It is a downer. It is.
Like, you don't want to see Oprah getting raped in the trailer.
Yes,
No.
The movie is kind of
that.
a downer. There's a lot of abuse going on, a lot of suffering, a lot of pain. But at the end, they overcome the adversity.
But it's a great film, honestly.
They
One of the
overcome
best
the
films of
adversity,
80s.
and I believe they opened a pizza parlor. Was that correct?
I don't know about that.
I think they did. And then it said at the end, and then we had pizza parties every night till the end of our days. I believe that's how it ended.
This movie is kind of
No?
notorious for being nominated for a bunch of Oscars and winning 0. Instead, Out of Africa won like the best Oscar that year. So it was very controversial back then. It basically got wiped out. Didn't win any Oscars. And what's so funny? You think that's funny? You think that's funny, Reza?
I understand what you're saying, but I can't stop laughing at the idea of The Color Purple ending with them having a pizza party.
Oh, okay.
That's literally like at the end of like Amistad, everybody walks into a Chuck E. Cheese and like, wants to play skee ball.
Wait a minute, you're giving me quarters? Yes, that's how you're going to put them in. Oh my God!
Like at the end of 12 Years a Slave, he just runs into a building and realizes he's in a sky zone and he just bounces for freedom on the trampolines.
Bouncing for 5 hours straight. Okay, moving on.
A recut. You should direct that as an alternate ending to The Color Purple.
So,
They are making a reboot of it, a remake of it.
Reboot.
Coming out.
Color Purple reboot. Violet.
I said a reboot. I'm sorry, remake. I said a reboot.
Maria says, wow, Donald. And then number 17, she's angry. Yes, number 17, because I haven't seen it and Kevin wasn't arguing hard enough for it. So it got to number 17. But here's the thing. I took a hit on this next one. I love this goddamn book. I love this book. And I placed it where I thought it would fit based upon how it turned out and what other people thought of it. And that is Ready Player One at number 16. That was a tough one. Tough for me to do. But I felt it was fair because he does have a great list of films that he's directed throughout his years. Ready Player One is a exceptional story. Anybody that's lived in the 70s and 80s and even 90s would find this to just be smothered in nostalgia. It's hard to get away from it. It's like a big, warm nostalgia hug.
I think that's why people had a hard time with the movie too, because they didn't like really watch the film for what it was. They just figured it was a big nostalgia cash grab for Spielberg.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at him throwing all his old properties into one thing, and like, hey, look, you like the '80s. Well, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
But if you actually watched it, it's not that.
No, it's based on a 2018 science fiction novel by Ernest Cline. Great story, great novel. If you get a chance, it's an excellent read. Reads really fast. One of the few novels that I've read in a while. I went on a little bit of a reading binge back when I started flying a bit more, and I had more time on planes. I was like, I'm going to take a couple books with me here and there, and one of those books was Ready Player One, and I fell in love with it. I have Ready Player Two sitting right over there. I'm about 45 pages into it. Not digging it as much as the first one, to be real, because they make the main character, Wade Watts, they make him kind of an asshole in the second one, which I think is problematic when you're trying to read a story about a character that you fell in love with in the first one, and then they're like, oh, by the way, that guy, he's an asshole now, and good luck with that. So maybe that changes. I don't know. But
is there a reason to that, or they just decided throughout the story he's just going to start being a prick?
Well, I think it's because they're trying to point out that money kind of taints you, and he got really super rich really fast, and he had really nothing to do with it. like he didn't know what to do with it, so he just kind of became an asshole. Is what it is. It's got Ben Mendelsohn in it. He plays the bad guy, Sorrento. So basically, the premise of the story, it's a tough one to describe. So let me try to describe it the best I can. The actual story itself is that in the future, most people are dirt poor. Surprise. And they go online into a system in order to escape the dredges of everyday life. So they sit in a house trailer and they put on this headset system and they log in, and at the login it says Ready Player One, which is basically what it is. So it's basically they can go in and they can go on adventures, they can go to different planets, they can experience all the nostalgia they want, which is what it is basically. It's very thick and heavy in nostalgia based on the creator of the system and what he wanted to put forth. Now, before the creator passed away, the co-creator, by the way, he put some Easter eggs in his game, in his worldwide system. And he said, if you can figure out all these Easter eggs and find the ultimate clue or whatever, I will give you the company. You will own the rights to the system. Now, there's a competing guy, gentleman Ben Mendelsohn plays, that runs a company that really wants the technology, but also wants to start doing advertising within the game and stuff like that, and in selling upgrades for armor and suits and things, and he just wants to make a ton of money through all that stuff. So he sends like an army of people. He hires them to come into a warehouse and suit up and put on the AI technology so they can go into the game and try to find the Easter eggs. Well, the first person to find it is Wade Watts, this poor kid from Cincinnati, I believe, or Columbus. It's Columbus, if I recall, Columbus, Ohio. And he teams up with Samantha and what was his name? Diato and Helen, I believe. And they all team up to, or E, I think his name was E. They all team up then to kind of find the more of the keys and try to beat this ultimate evil dude so they can own the company, which they then completely undo in the sequel, I guess. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I'm gonna wait before I pass ultimate judgment. But Ready Player One, the book is awesome. Ready Player One, the movie is fun. It's enjoyable. They do a thing with Jack Nicholson in The Shining in there that I thought was very ingenious and very creative that they couldn't or didn't do in the book. And there's some things in the book that they were not able to do in film due to rights, but I thought they did the best they could with what they had. So it was very enjoyable. A lot of fun, but still not perfect, which is why it's number 16 on the list. Kevin, your thoughts?
I know the book is super popular. I know the movie did pretty good. I know you praised the book like no other, because I know you said you rarely read like a big novel, but this one, it captured your attention. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the second one does not capture your attention so much. You said the guy is now a jerk. But hopefully by the time you get to the end of the book, you'll enjoy it. And when they make a sequel to it, Ready Player 2 in the movie theater, you will visit it, you will buy a ticket, and you will enjoy it.
It's supposed to have a sequel.
It's almost like I get it though, because from what you're saying, it's like I understand that, and it almost makes me kind of sympathize with the character a little bit more. Because if I suddenly owned a multi-billion-dollar company and I became like the richest man in the world, I completely would become a jerk. Like I would stop answering your calls and be like, "Oh, Donald, that poor son of a bitch." Click. Like I wouldn't talk to any of you guys anymore. I'm like, I'm rich now. I'm too good for you.
Yeah. I mean, you barely talk to us now, and you always keep telling me that you're too good for me. You just don't. You don't have the money to prove it yet. That's why I keep asking you.
That is true.
You know,
right now I'm just poor and I hang up on you.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. That's usually the way it goes, but it's fine. It's fine. I expect it. It's one of your quirks. Oh, Reza, he'll just hang up on me. All right, that brings us to number 15 on the list, and you're going to be surprised at this one. Why the hell was this number 15? Alex Banquito, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining.
I was surprised at this. I was.
Number 15, Duel. It made the list at number 15 because it's just batshit crazy how Spielberg made this 70s horror TV movie that like was just dumb as shit, but also entertaining as hell.
And probably one of the lowest budgeted things he ever did, like under $500,000.
Yeah. It's nuts.
$450,000 to be exact. You're right, Professor.
Which is also weird too. What it costs $500,000 to shoot a guy and a truck.
Yep. Let's go over the basics of this one. Came out in 1971. It was made for television, directed by Steven Spielberg. It centers on a business commuter, Dennis Weaver, who looks an awful lot like Michael Gross, if you ask me, driving his car through California to meet a client. However, he finds himself chased and terrorized by a mostly unseen driver of a semi that just basically just travels around, apparently harassing the shit out of people. And poor Dennis Weaver just happened to be in his way. So
that's the best part of the movie is that it just happens. Like the movie starts out, you're following this guy, and then suddenly he gets in the car. You're like, oh, let's see where this goes, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he passes the truck for the first time, you're like, this is all I'm gonna watch is just two cars passing each other, and it sounds like it should be awful. But it's just incredible in every way.
And who they in a way I feel like they've already redone this. It was with Fast and the Furious, dude.
With Paul Walker and another guy.
Paul Walker and Steve Zahn. But I don't remember the name of the movie. If anybody in the chats can remember the name of the movie, I remember the guy going, "Hey there, this is Candy Cane," and then the guy'd be like, "Hey, Candy Cane, I really want to see you," and they're like. We're dudes. Joyride. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Alex says, I really got to crash, but I just wanted to pop in to say hi. Okay, Alex, fine. You crash.
Oh, Alex,
fine.
8 hours of sleep. You big
right?
baby.
Right? 8 hours. Who needs that? But anyway.
Everyone in the chat, 4 shames for Alex.
Later, buddy. Thank you, Louie. Louie popped in and said Joyride. So Louie got it. Thank you. Alex says 8 hours? Are you kidding me? Needing his 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, I appreciate Alex now. Then.
All right. So, Duel, that's really all we have to say about it. I mean, it's not a prince of a film, but there's just something about it that made me want to put it higher up on the list, and that's just because it's like his attempt at some type of a very tense horror kind of a cat and a mouse, and it's something that we hadn't seen him do. It's just different. It just speaks differently.
What I love is the whole time they never give you a reason or a motivation or anything why the trucker is doing what he's doing.
Right.
He just starts doing it, and you never see the person or anything. Like, the guy pulls into a restaurant to eat, and the truck pulls over and waits for him. Like, I got time. Enjoy your sandwich. We'll finish this up in a minute.
Here's another great one. When the truck, like, drives him to where he has to jump into, like, a pile of, like a wooded thing. And it happens to be filled with snakes. And he's like, oh, no, I'm laying in snakes.
And I'm wondering, like, did the trucker plan that ahead of time? Like, he puts booby traps along the road, like, a few days before? Like,
he's like,
man, I can't wait till I get this guy to jump in the snakes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I got so many snakes.
Totally could be that way. So let's move on to... Geez, I'm just going to keep talking, guys. This is another one that I'll discuss.
This is actually Audrey Hepburn's very last movie.
Yes, it is. And number 14, Always. Now, I believe that was in 1989 when that film came out. Richard Dreyfuss, Holly Hunter, I believe, and Holly John Hunter. Goodman starred in this film with Audrey, of course, playing an angel-like character. The gist of it is Richard Dreyfuss is an ace pilot, like a flight pilot, and he's amazing, and he has luck on his side at all times, and Holly Hunter is kind of his radio, his eyes in the sky, so to speak, and they're in love, and he's amazing until he's not, and then he dies. He crashes, and he dies, and it's awful, and she's mourning him, and Audrey shows up, and she's like, oh, hey, Richard Dreyfuss. I love your films, by the way. But I'm going to need you to go back, and you're going to have to kind of mentor another pilot that's going to kind of take your place. And he's like, what the shit? What? Why would I do that? And he's like, oh, she's like, well, by the way, you get to see your wife or your girlfriend again. And he's like, oh, okay. All right. He's like, do I get to hit it? And she's like, no, Richard Dreyfuss, you don't get to hit it. You don't get to hit it.
It's like, no, you're going to watch the other guy hit it, and you can't do anything about it, Richard Dreyfuss.
Precisely. But she doesn't tell him that until, like, later he finds that out for himself. So he goes back to kind of mentor this guy, and along the way, inadvertently leads that guy to his ex, because he's dead, so it has to be his ex, right? And they fall in love, and he kind of watches this blossoming relationship and ultimately approves. And it's a very cute kind of a fantasy love story, which is why I put it so high on the list. Another Spielberg film that you didn't see coming, something that he wouldn't ordinarily direct, and I felt it was pretty special, so I very much enjoyed it. What's up, Dodgers 818? Good to see you.
Hey.
I think it's kind of odd too that like it feels almost like if you look at the film a little differently, like his ghost is terrorizing this woman so she can't move on until eventually she ends up in her own plane crash and just said, screw it, I accept my fate and I'm gonna die.
Well, there's that. You could put it that way, sure. You could put it that way.
Once he goes through all that, he goes, oh wait, maybe you should live and not like, come be a ghost with me, and like you should marry this guy and keep banging him, and I'll just watch in the corner.
Right, like a pervert.
Why did you have to almost kill her to do that?
So that's always. Now, number 13 is a film that I don't like at all. I've really tried, and as many times as you yell Rufio at me, I still don't give a shit. That's Hook. I don't like it, so one of you could talk about it, because I'll just talk nasty stuff.
I'm curious now why you don't like it, and I kind of want you to trash the movie, because it's just a great film. It's one of those movies where I think if you grew up like around our age at that time, Robin Williams he just holds a special place in your heart as Peter Pan.
No,
it's just the way it's shot, all the just colors of it, everything. The way that was it Robert De Niro or Al Pacino? Which one was it that played Hook?
Dustin Hoffman.
Or Dustin Hoffman. Neither of them. It was Dustin Hoffman.
Now, if you slammed De Niro into Pacino, I believe Dustin Hoffman does pop out. I think that's how that works.
There you go. Who was that? It was Sir Laurence Olivier. I'm just going to name actors. Buster
Roberts,
anyway, played Peter Pan. I'll name actors that even the audience, like, on the podcast right now doesn't know or isn't familiar with. Like, wait, who? Randall Sportingham.
Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell?
Yes, and I don't like Julia Roberts. I've always just thought she's just weirdly unattractive. Ooh. But I thought she was adorable as Tinkerbell. Yeah. And it's a part of the chemistry of the cast together, having so much fun with each other on that set. It was nice, like, at a younger age to be able to see all of that come to life with the people that were involved is really what I think sold it for everyone.
Amy, everybody went to high school with Rufio. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody you talk to in California went to high school with Rufio.
We all went to high school with. I went to high school with Rufio for a little while.
I don't know. I didn't, because I didn't go to high school in California. But everybody else went to high school with Rufio. I don't get it. You guys have to explain it to me sometime. I don't know this Rufio connection. Every time I go to Ren Fair, there'd be some dude dressed up like Rufio, and I still don't understand that because it's a Renaissance fair. Why? Why you dressing like Rufio? Why you dressed like Rufio? Like, this ain't Peter Pan land. This is a goddamn Ren Fair. This is a Renaissance fair. This is the Renaissance period. This isn't Rufio Town. This isn't Tinkerbell City. This isn't Hook Haberdashery or something. I don't know. It's nothing to do with Peter Pan, and I don't understand it, and I don't like it. And every time I saw that guy, I resented him for it. I think this.
All right, welcome back to the court, and now we're going to hear from the prosecutor. You just heard the defense's argument about why Ren Fairs are good.
Ren Fairs are great, by the way. Ren Fairs are great until Rufio shows up and ruins them with his dumbass Rufio face.
I've never seen anyone just so adamantly defend a Ren Fair to have the right to not be Rufioed. That's
Yes.
what you call it. Next time you see somebody show up
Rufioed,
at Dick,
yes.
they Rufioed my Ren Fair.
Yeah, they rufioed my Ren
gonna
Fair.
have a
That's a
horrible time.
good phrase. Yes, yes. Oh, Gabe, you loved Hook. Good for you, buddy. I'm so happy that you loved Hook.
Gabe understands. Gabe gets it. But again, a lot of that movie was the charm of Robin Williams. That's what it came down to. Was
He
Robin Williams
had
you could feel
Coke
the love
on his
and,
nose.
the passion that he poured into it.
Half the shots, there was still Coke on his nose. You could see it. He was
Well, that's okay.
full-blown
Because that Coke
crazy.
gave him the energy and the drive. And that Coke made him think he was Peter Pan, which is why he's so good in that movie.
Yeah, he believed it could fly.
He believes that he's Peter Pan.
He believed he could fly. That's what happens when you do too much Coke.
If they were doing any sort of forced perspective shots with Julia Roberts, he genuinely thought that he was going to play with a tiny fairy.
I am
I'm
not.
gonna put this fairy in my butt.
I am
That fairy's going in my butt.
a butt fairy. Well, we've all seen those. I mean, this is...
I believe Butt Fairy Tuesdays is at Hamburger Mary's every Tuesday.
It very well could be, actually. It very well. I could see them actually doing that. No offense to anyone, because all you got to do is go there, and you would understand. Anyway,
What's
Janet
nothing
says.
wrong with Butt Fairies.
Janet says Donald's so jealous of Hook. I'm not jealous. And
I'd be
Reza's favorite actress in there.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said
It's
Reza's
trash.
favorite actress.
this movie's
With Gwyneth
trash.
Paltrow.
But don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. As much as I hate Hook, there's something on here that's higher up the list that I hate even more. So if you like this, if you want to wait for me to go full Donald, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Just wait. So we're moving on from Hook because it's
How
a
dare you,
suckhole
sir.
film.
Give everybody a
You.
clue as to what's coming up.
How dare you insult the next movie?
It's not Lincoln, by the way, so you can relax. I don't hate Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
No, I was giving everyone a big clue right behind me.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. All right, so we have Daniel Day-Lewis at his finest, draining milkshakes, I believe, as Lincoln.
Well, he is the master of just getting deep into the character. Getting deep.
Mm-hmm.
You believe that he is Abraham Lincoln.
Kevin, I believe you once stated that you would love for him to get deep into your character.
No.
If I recall.
Not at all. Not at all.
No?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. I guess I was confused.
He doesn't need to go full method to play me.
Donald,
He
what
doesn't
we
have-
didn't
he
tell
doesn't
you
have to
is that this isn't Kevin. It's actually Daniel Day-Lewis.
What?
That's how good of a method actor he is.
Oh my God,
This is
Mr.
Daniel
Lewis!
Day-Lewis.
I love
That's
your
right,
work.
Donald. That's
Wow.
right, Donald.
Holy
I am playing
shit!
Kevin right now.
You're just a dude playing another
He
dude.
went through so many hours of melanin
Makeup,
pigmentation
makeup.
augmentation.
Right.
He followed Robert Downey Jr. He was like, Tropic Thunder was amazing, and I am going full Kevin.
This is a great historical because you call it a biopic in a certain sense. You're taking one piece of his life towards the end of the Civil War, trying to get that 13th Amendment passed to finally ban slavery.
Kevin, remember when I caught you biopicking your nose?
No, I don't recall that at all. Maybe if someone else in your life was doing that, that's supposed to you.
You were like this. You're like Thomas Jefferson.
Oh,
I believe.
No.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
don't
how.
think so.
All right,
That's
whatever.
what the kids call it when you like both kinds of photos. You're a biopic.
There you go. We'll take it. We'll work with
Sally Field plays the First Lady, Mary Todd Lincoln. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays one of the sons, Robert Todd Lincoln. Having a great cast. Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, plays one of Lincoln's telegraph operator. I know. Donald doesn't appreciate history, but this is a very important film. just like another historical film that's coming up later on this list. This is a very important film. People need to see this. The kids.
You know
need
what?
to watch
The
movies.
only Lincoln
I
fan.
appreciate history, and if anybody wants to watch a history-based film about Abraham Lincoln, I highly recommend Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Thank you. That's where I was going.
100% historical.
100%. 100%.
Yes. Harriet Tubman helped him kill werewolves in the Underground Railroad.
I believe that. 100%. I think that National Treasure was really onto something with all of this type of tomfoolery that was going on pre unification days when we were dealing with our colonialism and whatnot.
What's next?
A
That's why
lot of
every time I go
things.
to a Carl's Jr., I check every fourth tile on the floor because they were part of the Freemasons.
Yep. Or it could have been Jack in the Box too.
What's next? Thomas Jefferson, Ghost Hunter.
I can't wait for that one. I'm in on that, dude. That sounds amazing.
I would totally watch that
I
movie.
am going to write that down. That
Let's
is
do
an
a whole
excellent.
series of them.
Thomas
Let's do an entire
Jefferson,
series. Benjamin Franklin,
Ghost
Werewolf
Hunter.
Killer.
Wait. Ben Franklin was never president.
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. He's a historic American.
Right. He's on a $100 bill. Come on.
So there you go. Ben Franklin, Werewolf Killer.
Name two people that weren't presidents that were on bills.
There's Ben Franklin. There is Alexander Hamilton. Lieutenant Elgrill. He was never president either.
Yep.
Hamilton.
You got it. Ding, ding, ding,
Also,
ding, ding.
he had his own movie, Alexander Hamilton, Goblin Stabber.
I love that. Goblin Stabber.
It's just him going around, goblin, goblin, goblin.
Disrespectful.
Okay.
I kind of want to see that. I want 37 movies, all based in the same universe, about historical figures who murdered different kinds of mythical creatures. Every film is one historical figure versus a different type of mythical creature.
Okay, so if that's the case, then we should do like Teddy Roosevelt, the Chupacabra hunter.
Yes!
Yes.
That would be
That
incredible.
would, actually, I would.
You know how Teddy... no, I was thinking of someone else. I was going to say Ted Kennedy. You know how Ted Kennedy killed the Chupacabra? Like, that
Alcohol. He just got him drunk. Or they had a headbutting contest, and obviously that sumbitch won.
Here's a bottle of John. Let's go drive over a bridge. What do you say?
All right, number 11 on our list is a doozy. Amy says she'd watch that, Kevin, so she's in on your idea.
Okay, we got to write the movie then.
Okay, number 11. Let's kick this pig. We are talking about Tintin.
Aww.
I love this goddamn film. When it came out, I was so excited for it. I was actually turned on to the idea. I accidentally dated a French lady for a while, and she was big on Tintin and a few other things. So that kind of got me to learn more about Tintin and the character and stuff, and it was interesting. What became more interesting is obviously when one of my favorite directors, Peter Jackson, decided to become involved. The initial idea was Spielberg and Jackson would take turns directing. Jackson was helping to produce and foster the film, and Spielberg would direct the first one, and then the second film, Peter Jackson would take the helm, and Spielberg would help kind of foster that film. That did not happen. Interestingly enough, the budget was $135 million. It made $374, which is a good amount of money. But unfortunately, the time invested and the names behind the pictures created more of a problem for them. So the $374 million looked like more like, it made maybe 150. You know what I mean? It just didn't... With those two names behind it, it didn't, and it not working the way they wanted it to, the money, it just didn't come in the way they thought it would. So we never got to see a sequel, which is unfortunate. This came out in 2011. It's a fantastic film.
You mentioned you had a French girlfriend that was into it, because I noticed that was like the Tintin, the character was really big in foreign markets. Because even when I was a kid, I remember my parents getting me those books, and I was like, oh, Tintin, and I loved reading it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tintin's something that's very popular internationally, but it's one of those things where it's not huge in the U.S. And
I never caught on here for some reason.
And that's interesting because I like Tintin. I think he's cool. Maybe it was the name. I don't know. But the whole idea behind it was great, and I think the story was great. The basic plot of this, it's a long one, so I'll just try to be as concise as possible. While browsing in an outdoor market with his pet dog Snowy, Tintin, a young journalist, purchases a miniature model of a ship known as the Unicorn, but is accosted by two men who both separately unsuccessfully attempt to acquire the model. After Tintin takes the model home, it is accidentally broken during a chase between Snowy and a stray cat. A metal tube slides out of the mast and rolls under Tintin's furniture. There's some bumbling police detectives involved. After visiting a library to uncover the history surrounding the unicorn, Tintin returns to find the unicorn has been stolen, of course, but that little scroll thing is underneath his the couch. Tintin places a scroll in his wallet, but is then pickpocketed by Silk the next morning. Silk is a sneaky little some.
By the way, this goes on for like 7 paragraphs. There's no way to narrow this down.
I know. Basically,
it's basically like a detective, like a Sherlock Holmes adventure story.
Yes.
And he goes hunting for these scrolls to find something else that like leads him to.
It's like a national treasure. Yeah, it's like a national treasure, but with Tintin. It's this motion capture kind of animation, which is why we got Andy Serkis in the film. He plays Captain. I think his last name is Haddock. Captain Haddock. Yes. Jamie Bell plays Tintin. Daniel Craig is Sakarian. Simon Pegg is one of the inspectors. Nick Frost is Thompson. Peter Jackson's even in it. So it's a delightful, fun, frolicking romp. In fact, I think I'm going to actually watch this again sometime very soon. I really did love this film and had forgotten about it and how good it is. So check it out. It's an hour and 47 minutes. It is directed by Spielberg, of course, and it is number 11 on our list. It's The Adventures of Tintin.
The dog is adorable, too.
It is. The dog was so damn cute in the original comics and books.
Amy, you're saying hard pass? You don't want to watch Tintin?
Oh.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you, Amy?
Seriously.
What about the dog, Snowy?
Did somebody named Tintin beat you up as a kid or something? Were you bullied by a guy named Tintin or something? I don't know.
She was raped by a small dog.
Oh my God. Nope.
Oh my God.
Nope. Nope. Tintin is not a dog, by the way. That's Snowy.
I forgot to mention that I'm known as a habitual line stepper.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So, this is me. I'm going to reach over and slap him real quick. There we go. You're welcome. All right. So, here we go. We're going to move on to number 10 on the list. This is another fun one. If you liked Tintin, you are going to love Schindler's List.
Whoa. This is another great historical movie that deserves respect as well.
Yeah,
this would help put Liam Neeson on the map. You know, about the great story of Oskar Schindler, who saved thousands of Jews' lives. You know, employed them in his factories during the Holocaust era. During World War II.
It was about a list that he made.
Yes, list he made.
It was originally a list of chicks he wanted to bone, and then he had to change it. As the story unfolded, and all wrong movie.
I thought it was just a guy going to the grocery store and going,
eggs, milk, dairy,
cheese.
Yeah.
Just
all the dairy. He's lactose intolerant too, which is terrible, and it just gets worse from there.
That's the last thing you see, like the big reveal at the end of Schindler's List is that he forgot to check off the box that says Imodium AD.
Oh my God!
Yeah, or gas X.
Oh, poor Schindler.
All
right, Kevin, hit us.
Yes, as a respect again, Oskar Schindler, doing a very humanitarian thing, also risking his skin in many respects, helping out Jews who were being persecuted, being murdered, during the Holocaust. It's a very powerful film, especially the scene with the little girl in the red, the only part that wasn't black and white, to represent the innocence of people being slaughtered. And it's a very powerful film. Definitely top 3 film for Spielberg. Won many Oscars back in 1993.
Enrique, I'm going to pin that.
Considered
like
all time.
Duel and Hook, am I right?
Well, there's some others, but definitely Schindler's List would be definitely his top 3 greatest films of all time for sure.
And Enrique's going to hell. He said, I thought it was the precursor to Craigslist.
Whoa.
So... There we go.
Yeah, it's just Liam Neeson trying to convince a guy to take a couch off his lawn. Like, I said it was free, man. What else do you want me to do? It's free.
Yes. But Schindler's List is a very powerful film, and one that I find movies like that, Precious, and other films as well, to be sometimes just too heavy to want to watch. And I understand the need for such films, and the necessity, but it's not necessarily something that I will ever want to visit or revisit in certain circumstances. So hats off to people that can continue. continuously. What is going on, Kevin? Watch. Somebody's weirdly sniffing your hat, I think.
I guess so.
It's just not something that I would want to rewatch. It's not. It doesn't have that. It's like a DC film. It doesn't have the rewatchability like a Marvel film normally.
Wow, you're
Those
dissing your
where
own,
you have
your
to
own
watch,
company.
like,
It's true.
like Schindler's List is like a once every several years kind of movie.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I made a bad joke about the Holocaust. I'm
Mhm.
gonna watch Schindler's List again. I'm
Yep.
gonna reset myself for the next 4.5 years.
Kevin, all right. Were you talking about this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Number 9 on the list.
Yes, another historical film.
I want to justify this that it's like, oh, Kevin's talking about the films because he's more of an expert on the historical aspect of things, not just because these are all like black slave movies.
Schindler's List was a Jewish slave movie, sir.
Jewish speech.
But there were
Hey, Sammy Davis
black
Jr.
Jews.
Represent, all right?
Yes.
That's true. There were black
That's true.
Jews.
That's true. Very true. Very true. So
Very
Amistad.
true.
I have also seen Amistad. I found it to be just a delightful film, filled with humor. The dance routines I thought were wonderful. The
I don't know
comedy.
what movie you've been watching. I don't know what you've been watching.
There's more than one Amistad?
Yeah, there's only one Amistad that I'm aware of.
Yeah, isn't there like a Cuban fella who like invites the people onto the ship and he's got like a little tiny man with him?
It's
and,
Cuban
like, they
Pete.
make their dreams come true.
Yes, like Cuban Pete.
Didn't
He does this.
didn't exactly go down like that. But this movie is the debut of Jimin Hansu, wonderful actor.
Was it his debut appearance? This film came out in what, 91, 97?
97.
I think it might have been like his first major role. Yeah.
Yes, first
Yeah.
major role.
I think it was like his first big break for. Yeah, he was
Yep.
fantastic in this film. Just fantastic.
Excellent job. Matthew
He was on a
McConaughey.
roll because then Blood Diamond came not too far after, and he was fantastic in that as well.
Yes,
He's one
wonderful
of those
actor.
guys that's like you'll watch it because he's in it because he's just a damn good actor.
Mhm. Yeah.
Has great presence.
Yeah.
And Anna Paquin, interesting enough, plays Queen Isabella of Spain. Very young Anna Paquin's playing like the Queen of Spain.
I
Also,
can't stand her.
Chiwetel Ejiofor is in this movie as well. He has a small role in it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, yeah, fantastic actors all. Known
Dallas
best for
Skarsgård.
his film performance in Kiki Boots.
Yes, that is correct.
He was great in that. Really quickly, pound that like button on there if you see it. Give us a thumbs up. Also, give us a subscribe if you have not subscribed to us. Tell your friends. Our algorithm sucks right now, so let's boost it. Tell your friends about our podcast, about our show here. Let them know that you're having a good time, that you're having some fun on a Monday night when it's just kind of a downer because you had to go to work, which sucks. I know.
The case of the Mondays, am I right?
Right, but we're going to turn that frown upside down. Case of the Mondays is going to be fun days. Yeah. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell your friends, please. Follow our sponsor, splatteredfrog.com. Type in coupon code SHORTBOX, get 20% off your order. Follow our other sponsor, which may or may not have given me quite a few bottles of hot sauce for future giveaways. That would be HassHotSauce.com. I'm going to type that in.
Pass hot sauce. Your colon will appreciate you.
It's not bad. Yeah, HassHotSauce.com. Type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups for 10% off your order. They have some fantastic hot sauces. I just got a new one I have yet to try. It's called the Old Razzle Dazzle. It's a raspberry hot sauce. I'm excited to try that.
Raspberry hot sauce. Interesting.
And, of course, they have some of my all-time favorites, Sugar Rush Peach, Trippy Pickle, and the always fantastic Painapple, which is a painful pineapple. So it's Hitler would approve.
What?
Well, you obviously haven't
That's
seen
right.
Little Nicky, buddy.
I was gonna say, there's a great way to get your sponsor to drop the show real fast. Hass hot sauce, approved by Hitler.
Not quite what I meant, but everybody gets it.
Hass hot sauce. All the Nazis use it. What?
So Amistad, Kevin, you enjoyed it. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. It's a good film. Anything
Yes, it
else?
Yeah, everyone should see it if they haven't had a chance. Check it out. It's actually one of the only cases where slaves were actually able to get out of bondage
Yeah.
through the court system. So that's what's
It's-
so great
it's
about it.
Really cool to see it, like actually see the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Morgan Freeman, Anthony Hopkins.
Morgan Freeman was
cast.
fire in that, yeah. Matthew McConaughey, I believe, was in that as well.
Matthew McConaughey's in it, absolutely.
Let's just agree, we all want Morgan Freeman to be our dad.
No, I actually like my dad. Morgan Freeman can be my like crazy uncle, like my fun uncle, my funkle.
Actually,
I thought Bruce Campbell could be your crazy uncle.
He's the other
I gotta
funkle.
say, your parents are pretty cool because they actually are watching and like paying attention to this. So
Yeah.
that's kudos to them.
Is anybody else's parents from the podcast watching this?
That's
no.
worse. I can't recall a single time my parents ever came to see me do comedy, so you got one up on me, pal.
Aw. Well, if my parents lived out here, they'd come see you, I'm sure. Okay, so next one. Number, let's see, 8 on the list. This is an interesting one. Number 8 on the list. This is interesting because it's the most recent Spielberg film, and we're talking West Side Story, going up this high on the list. Chris, who could not make it tonight, he was not feeling good, so Chris, I hope you're feeling better. Really gave this high marks. I saw it. I thought it was fantastic. I know Maria saw it. She thought it was fantastic as well. And Reza, my mom, just confirmed, yes, we would. So they would go to see.
Oh, I love your parents.
So number 8, West Side Story. If you don't know it, it's Romeo and Juliet, guys. So just understand that basic story.
What's Romeo and Juliet?
And you have a confrontation between the Puerto Ricans and the Irish. You have Puerto Rican gangs versus Irish gangs. And an Irish gang member dude falls in love with a Puerto Rican kind of a gangster's sister that they fall in love, and the Puerto Rican's brother is like, no one to love my sister, no. And the Irishman is like, oh, I love your sister, I just want to be with her. I just want to give her some taties. Oh, she loves them. So this is actually what takes place. He's like, taties? And the other guy's like, no, you're no loving my sister. And he's like, taties? And that's like half the film. The other half is the fights and stuff, which happens later.
I love the way you're describing it. Sounds like at the very end you're gonna pop up with a tiki torch and be like, and that's why they need to go back to their own country.
No torches here. I love all genders, creeds, races, and
I love everyone.
binaries. They, them. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we could make that song.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Anita popped in. Anita, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Dino's here. Good to see you, Dino. Dino says, from Schindler's List to Hitler-approved hot sauce. Clearly, we have had some tasty beverages tonight.
We don't mess around here, Dino. We
Yeah.
give you the good stuff.
Yeah,
right out of the gate.
we give you the good stuff, buddy. Amy Walsh says, it was really good. I'm normally not a fan of remakes of the old classics. However, this was very good. Thank you. I agree, Amy. Enrique says, watched it on in the theater and really liked it. I like the original, but I like this one too. And there is a connection.
Curious, which one they think would be a better remake of an old classic is Star is Born or West Side Story.
Yeah, good point. It's like 4 different versions of A Star is Born.
Well, that's true. The Star is Born has more options to choose from. But I'm talking about like from the original one and this one, just since Spielberg has the 1960s.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Both are good.
Okay, moving on to number 7. Number 7.
Another great historical movie, Saving Private Ryan.
Nope, it is Saving Ryan's Privates, if I recall.
No, it's
Now,
Shaving Private Ryan.
That might be something that
Did,
you...
did I watch the wrong film?
I think you watched the wrong film.
Damn it, I did it again.
I think you watched the wrong film. It's a powerful film. Starts out of Omaha Beach.
I need to stop going to Uncle Wiggley's Hump Palace to rent my movies. That's just, that's on me.
A girl named Ryan at Omaha Beach, and he's like, I'm going to take this Gillette right to that Angela Davis-looking bush.
Where did we go with this? All right, Saving Private Ryan.
I'm giving Dino more to work with. All right.
That's true.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Who is Ryan?
Yes.
Who was Ryan?
Well, Matt Damon played Private Ryan, and basically the story starts in Omaha Beach. You see the horrors of war, and it's crazy stuff going on. You see the blood, the guts. You see realistic horror of what happens. But the mission of
Vin
Tom
Diesel.
Hanks, well, Vin Diesel's part of the crew. That's right. Captain John Miller. Vin Diesel plays Private First Class Adrian Caparzo. But basically, their group, their mission is to retrieve Private Ryan so they can bring him home, because his other 3 brothers were killed in the war, and so they want to at least give his parents at least one child, one son left.
Which
Right.
goes to show that even long before Fast and the Furious ever came out, Vin Diesel was still all about family, dog.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's very true. Anita says spoilers, Anita. She says the saddest moment is when Vin Diesel died.
Whoa! You're giving the movie away. Don't do that.
My parents have never seen it. Mom, Dad, I don't know if you'd like it. I think you'd enjoy it.
Powerful.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
there's a
spoiler
lot
on
of
Anita,
war.
or is it on you
And
for saying
Gabe,
it out loud?
I agree with you. I
Probably
cried
me.
too after watching it, Gabe. It touched me too, brother.
Where did it touch you,
It's
Kevin?
nice. It's a nice war story, but like it's weird where you get like a heartwarming war tale, where something good comes out of it.
Right.
Usually it's like a Full Metal Jacket situation where Vincent D'Onofrio is getting beat with bars of soap.
And then blows his own brains.
Oh, you give away the movie. Don't do that.
Whatever. It's war. People die.
I feel like after 30 years, it's not a spoiler anymore.
Right.
You should have seen it by
Yeah.
now.
Yes. And speaking of not spoiling anything, we're going to move on to number 6 on the list. Maria, you'll probably like that the ranking on this one.
I like the ranking on this one. I think it's appropriately ranked.
It's number 6 is Catch Me If You Can. This is a Leonardo DiCaprio film, also starring
Tom
Christopher
Hanks.
Walken and Tom Hanks.
But yeah, Frank Abagnale was his name, I think.
Junior.
Yeah, like
Junior.
Frank Abagnale Jr. Just an amazing true story. Like absolutely, like probably one of the smartest con men on the planet of all time.
Didn't it all kind of start out revolving around him cashing, like writing checks that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of essentially started out with like him just not wanting to be. It shows his family like they're broke. He doesn't want to be broke anymore, so he figures out a way to forge checks, and he realizes he can buy all these Pan Am model airplanes, put them in the hot water, take the Pan Am sticker off, put it on the real check, and now he's a pilot. And essentially, that's where he starts doing enough of that, and Tom Hanks from the FBI starts to kind of catch on to it. And their whole cat and mouse caper throughout the movie is absolutely wonderful because they develop such a respect for each other that even after he's caught, he still ends up working with him and for the FBI.
Yeah, isn't that great? It's a really heartwarming, tense adventure story. Which I feel you take the elements of Duel, and you take the elements of another film, like an Adventure-esque film that has a lot of heart, like Always maybe, and you take these stories and you kind of mesh them together and you create this tense fantasy film that's based on reality, that's based on that fact. And there's just the tapestry that Spielberg weaves with this one is masterful. It is really a masterclass.
As we're going through the list, like Spielberg's pocket for budget seems to be between the $45 to $58 million range. Anytime he makes a movie for that amount, it always goes over $300 million for some reason.
Yeah,
Every movie
he does a really good job
on this list that he made for between $40 to $50 million has all grossed over $300 million.
Yeah, so that's not a bad return for a film. So hats off to him for that. Dino says, I watched this movie while I was in Iraq in the war. It was awesome. It got your mind off of stuff. So that's cool to hear.
Oh, wow. That got a little too real for me, Dino.
Well, he wasn't watching Saving Private Ryan. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? So, Catch Me If You Can is a fun one. Now, number 5 is a disgusting film. I don't know why it made the list at all, period. I would not have put it on here had it not been for Kevin so harshly voting for it and arguing against me and telling me that I was being nonsensical. Basically saying I was unpatriotic. I wasn't being part of the human race. And then I find out Kevin, the son of a bitch, is an actual alien himself. That's right. I'm outing you, Kevin, in front of everybody. You are an alien, sir. And I'm going to prove it.
Technically, out of the three of us here, I'm the one that's an actual alien.
Oh, are you illegal or legal?
Yes, I am. Well, not illegal, but I am foreign, so I am technically a resident alien.
Oh. Okay.
I got that.
Got it. So we're talking E.T. This movie's hot trash, and I hope it just dies. I hope the film explodes in a fiery crash and no one ever gets to see it again. It's that bad.
You wouldn't think that if you knew that after if you knew this after, you wouldn't think that E.T. is trash. Like the whole idea of the movie was based on an imaginary friend that Steven Spielberg created for himself as a kid after his parents divorced.
I don't care.
Doesn't help at all?
No. Right. Let me tell you. I was 4 years old. My parents took me to the drive-in. This is story time. My parents took me to the drive-in and they said, we're going to watch a film. And I was like, oh, great. Drive-in. I love the drive-in. They take me there and they go, there's a playground out front. We're going to park right here in the front row. And you can go out on the playground and play. And I said, okay. And this was back in the 80s when you could go play by yourself and you weren't going to get abducted or, murdered. So I'm out on the playground on the swing sets and stuff in front, right by the screen. It gets real foggy real quick. Guess what starts out with this stupid film? E.T. running around in the fog with all these lights going on. And I'm like looking around. I'm like 4. I don't understand what films are quite yet. And I think the son of a bitch is now out in the fog somewhere around the playground.
What's to be afraid of?
I look for my parents. I can't see the car because it's too foggy. I get confused. I get upset. Somebody comes and gets me. I can't remember what it was. Next thing I know, I'm back home, right? And I'm dreaming about E.T. being in the closet. And his finger lights up and he comes out of the closet. And he goes, phone home, and he hits my face with it and it melts part of my face because it's red hot, which is why it lit up, because it's red hot, like one of those cigarette things that you push into your car. Because I was at the drive-in, you push the thing in, it pops out, it glows like that. So here I am thinking that E.T.'s gonna melt my goddamn face off. Guess what happens next? I piss the bed. Yeah, I piss the bed. E.T. made me piss myself, so E.T. can eat a bag of dicks.
So here's the thing. It has nothing to do with the movie being bad or anything like that. You're just very biased towards
the movie's trash.
Because you were a very shitty child who couldn't handle a movie.
The movie's terrible. Enough said.
Mr. and Mrs. McKinney, I apologize for that bed. Poor Donald should have known better.
All right, let's see what all these people in the chats. Anita's upset. Mac and me forever. That's right, Enrique. I'm with Donald on this one. E2 creeped me the hell out. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. See?
You know what's funny is E.T., when I was a kid, I had just moved to America like a year prior, and E.T. was one of the first movies I ever saw in a theater in America. And I remember going to like a double feature thing, and guess which 2 movies I had seen? E.T. and Garbage Pail Kids, the movie.
Hey, there you go.
You know which one I obviously liked more.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes.
I mean,
without a doubt.
Of course. That makes sense to me. I mean,
I thought it was odd that they were screening both of those together.
Yes, it is an odd pairing, but hey, whatever floats their boats. We're going to go to number 4. It's another space film. Can you guess what one?
Close Encounters
Missing in Space?
of the fourth kind.
It's of the third kind, you drunk bastard. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is all about Richard Dreyfuss and people making mountains out of mashed potatoes. That's all this movie is they're just making mountains out of mashed potatoes. There's helicopters following them around. They feel like they need to go someplace to hear music produced by an alien DJ that's like, so they start a rave at the end and everything gets crazy. It's a lot of fun. It's actually a little slow, kind of boring, but very well done. Very well directed. Anybody else have any opinions on Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I was going to say, I love the parts where Rick Moranis comes in and starts fixing their tiny spaceship.
That is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Rick Moranis was not in Batteries Not Included.
He wasn't?
No.
I thought it was Rick Moranis.
No, he was not in that. 100%.
Oh, I'm just going to shut the hell up now.
He was not. But Jessica Tandy was, if that helps. She also
Not
created
at all.
she created the computer, by the way, the Tandy computer for Radio Shack.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, little unknown fact.
And the spaceship looks really cool when the aliens came out to greet the humans. That was a cool scene.
Yes, and I will say when we watched this, I watched this a while back at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and they projected it on the side of the mausoleum. And as the scene with the helicopter happened, and the helicopter kind of flew off the screen, I shit you not, there was another helicopter in LA, in Hollywood, that flew out from like behind the mausoleum, and it just timed it perfect, so the helicopter went off the screen and into the air, and everybody at the cemetery lost their shit. Oh my god! You know,
I can guarantee they planned that. There's no way that that happened on its own. They had to have planned it.
Man, I think it happened on its. I think it happened on its own. I don't think they have the budget to plan that kind of thing.
Funny that you mentioned the Hollywood Forever Cemetery movies. The last thing I saw there, Coming to America.
Oh, okay.
Really? Yeah,
Really?
There was two guys dressed as full McDowell's employees. Like, they had the right stitching and everything. It was incredible.
Enrique says, now I want mashed potatoes and to listen to 80s synth. And Anita says she agrees she could never get into it. So, yeah. Number 3, by the way, Jaws. Yeah, I know. We put Jaws at number 3. What's that tell you? Jaws is the summer film. This is the blockbuster. This created the blockbuster movie. Yep. If it wasn't for Jaws, if it wasn't for Bruce, the shark, we wouldn't have blockbuster films that we have now. If it wasn't for Roy Schneider, not to be confused with Rob Schneider, Roy Scheider, we wouldn't have the blockbuster film. We wouldn't have the superhero type-esque trope that we have now in these types of films coming out in June, July, and early August. May, June, July, and early August, basically.
It's weird to think that this movie single-handedly created like the 3-4 month long like movie kind of bubble where that's when everything hits, that's when everything's trying to compete, everybody's got to go see this movie because it came out at this time.
Mm-hmm. Mom, you never saw Jaws? Are you serious?
What?
Okay, to be fair, I didn't see Jaws until 2014, I believe it was, or 2012, somewhere around there. Like 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago, I think is when I first saw Jaws for the first time. And it just like, I was like, why have I not seen this before? This is amazing. Like,
your mom should wait until she comes out here to watch Jaws and then immediately take her on the tram ride at Universal Studios so she can have the Jaws experience.
Right? That would be awesome.
I feel like she would love that.
Yeah, so Mom, when I come back, I guess we're going to have to watch Jaws. It's not it's not a bad, like, not gross or anything like you think it would be. It's not at all.
I feel it was
Re-editing.
supposed to be, but because of all the problems they had with the shark, he had to like shoot it and edit it very cleverly so it made the movie that much more tense and terrifying.
Verna Fields, the editor, saved the movie, so I know Maria would appreciate me saying that. You know, this shows you the power of editing, a very underrated and underappreciated art.
Because you don't even see anything about the shark other than maybe a part of the fin for like the whole first half of the film, right?
Yeah, really, that's true.
It worked out the way it needed to.
Number 2.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe what's at number 2. Because we put Jaws at number 3. We're crazy. Number 2 is Jurassic Park.
Can I say one quick last thing about Jaws that will always remain forever in my heart? I think it was like the 3rd film by the time they got to it, where now the shark is like a sentient being, and it somehow is following like the guy's wife and kids and like trying to like go after them. Like, it knows where they live. It's swimming to canals that go near their place. Like, why is the shark following them?
Right. It's nonsensical, but hey, whatever. So we're at Jurassic Park, or Dr. Malcolm Grant, Dr. Malcolm and Dr. Ian Grant, Alan Grant. Thank you. And then Ladyface McGee, whatever her name is, I can never remember.
Dr. Ellie Sattler.
Sadler, thank you, Sadler. Yes.
Nope, she's Ladyface McGee now.
And then we also have Colonel Sanders, who's keeps going, my park, my chicken, you know.
Dr. John Hammond. You talk about Dr. John Hammond.
Yes, so there's that too.
John Hamm?
Yes, Maria says that Jaws is pretty much a perfect movie. Mom says she loved Jurassic Park, and Dino says your ass in the park is a fun movie. Your ass in the park. I get it. Very clever, sir. Very clever. So that's where we're at. Jurassic Park at number 2, guys. I don't know what else is to say. Here's the reason why. Reasoning why the Jurassic Park is not number 1, it is number 2. Jurassic Park is number 2 because it is a dinosaur-based film. Dinosaurs, I feel like anything you do with dinosaurs is usually primarily successful. Like, you throw a lot of money at a dinosaur film, you're going to have some form of success, usually. That's the way it works. So I feel like you hired a competent director, you had a great story, yes, but the key was dinosaurs. If it was Lemur Park, I don't know that people would have cared as much. Jurassic Park with the dinosaurs, that's what did it. So the dinosaurs, I feel, are the star of it, and the direction comes more within the actual story itself, and the dinosaurs just sell themselves. So I feel like the next film, the number 1 on our list, had more directing involved in it and more clever ideas, I feel. That's just my personal opinion. So that's why Jurassic Park is number 2. Anybody else have anything they want to say about Jurassic Park?
So basically, this movie is second on your list, and it's one of your all-time favorites, not because of any other reason besides you're kind of like that kid on the news that likes turtles. You're like, I like dinosaurs.
Yeah, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid, so Jurassic Park just hit everything.
Well,
I will say
they're missing, though. The dinosaurs are supposed to have feathers. They haven't cracked that yet.
Oh, I know it was for Jaws, Maria. I thought I said
that. I'll put it higher up. I'll give it credit for being higher up on the list because it was a breakthrough in, like, the cinematography and the CGI technology and that kind of stuff.
Well, not only that, but the stop motion, not stop motion, but the animatronics that were involved with the dinosaurs, the pairing, the marrying of the two, the animatronics with the computer-generated effects, I felt were perfectly flawless. And for the close-up scenes and stuff, you would get something that would be animatronic, and for the far-away shots and the chases, you would get the special. You rewatch Jurassic Park right now, it still looks fantastic. It is one of the very few, if not the only one, that's hard to tell when something is not real.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the long and the short of it.
That James Cameron put into Avatar, you can still tell the CGI. Jurassic Park, like you said, one of the only ones.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, 100%. So that's Jurassic Park. Let's move to the comments really quickly. Anita says Jurassic Park is one of the few movies that I'm excited for each sequel. Toilet seat guy getting eaten is hilarious. Anita, they did actually, I believe, wasn't it Mattel that came out with the play set that has the guy in the toilet now being eaten by the T-Rex? That does exist now.
Yeah.
So you can purchase that. You can find it on eBay for too much money, but you can't purchase it. And
I'm surprised that one movie wasn't on your list.
What's that?
Which was Firelight. Spielberg's first ever movie that he made for $500.
Yeah, no, we good on that.
Or also Sugarland Express, his actual first theatrical film.
We good on that too. I'd rather talk about this number 1, and that is Indiana Jones.
It's not Ace Eli and Roger of the Skies.
No, it is not.
That came before Sugarland Express.
It is Indiana Jones. It is a fantastic series. I think this gets number 1 for multiple reasons, because Spielberg did help direct pretty much all of the Indiana Jones films. There's 4 of them, soon to be 5. 3 out of the 4 are pretty perfect. They're fantastic films.
We don't talk about Crystal Skull.
No, we don't really. They're done really well in all their own way. Very unique in their storytelling as well. I just don't know how else to say. The direction of this is savvy. It's smart. It's fun. It's cheeky. It's hilarious. It's adventurous. It's tense. It's nerve-wracking. It's exciting. It's excitement. It is a pure, perfect popcorn film. by any means. You like paleontology is to Jurassic Park as archaeology is to Indiana Jones. And anybody that's ever had any involvement or fascination with history would find these series of films to be excellent and of high quality. So Indiana Jones takes it for me. What do you guys think?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't this have like one of the best scenes of all time where the guy comes to fight him? They're standing across from each other, and he starts doing like all the crazy shenanigans with the sword, and he just kind of looks at him as like dead.
Yeah, it's great with the gun. Yep.
Yes. I was like, I wanted to make sure it was Indiana Jones. But
And I
me,
believe that was because Harrison Ford, if I recall, had food poisoning.
Yes.
And didn't feel like playing out the whole fight scene, so he came up with the idea of just shooting him, and it worked so perfectly. It was so hilarious and just worked so well with the character. They were like, shit, you know?
It was brilliant because it is to this day, it's still the most realistic thing that would happen in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep. Dino says, Dr. Jones, no more parachutes. Enrique says, Temple of Doom. Anita asked, what are your thoughts on if it should get remade? She's against it.
I say no.
Here's my thing. Not remade, but continue on. Have Chris Pratt take it over. Take over the helm. Have him be somebody involved. Have him take over for what's his name?
Harrison Ford?
No, the son that was supposed to take over.
Oh, you
Shia
mean
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf was miscast from the beginning. Change it to now where they're all a bit older. Shia is now Chris Pratt, who's older now and is taking up the helm of Indiana Jones. He's got
By the way, as an Indiana Jones fan, how great did you feel like watching all the movies and then you go to see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and you're like, wait, it was a damn alien head? Like they just had an alien skull? Like, way to shit the bed, Spielberg.
Yeah. I don't think they knew what they were doing, but I think Chris Pratt would be an excellent choice for Indiana Jones, for a future Indiana Jones, to be the keeper.
Parent.
Yeah,
Well,
the
Indiana Jones
keeper of
is
the
a great
flame.
character along the lines of like Sherlock Holmes or like James Bond, where you don't have to keep remaking the stuff. You can always continue stories or new stories with that character.
Yeah, that's true. He could be the next James Bond. You could just have it be a different actor playing Indiana Jones, and that's okay
Exactly.
too. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can get behind that.
Are you-
It doesn't need to be
I
remade.
understand that at this point. Like Harrison Ford is old enough where they go, "Oh, I get it. You want to keep the Indiana Jones films going? You need a new actor. I'm willing to just buy that he's Indiana Jones now."
It's not so much a remake as it would be a reboot in a way, a fresh reboot to carry on the character's legacy in stories
I
and
would
fresh
call it a
new stories.
continuation.
Yeah,
Kind of the way that Daniel Craig continued the James Bond films. Like, well, he wasn't rebooting any of them. He's just adding to the lore with his films.
true, but it's also a reimagination of the James Bond lore with Daniel Craig's story, though. Also, especially if you watch the last film, his ending definitely speaks volumes for the idea that they had behind the character from the beginning to the end, and how they were going to bookend it. So it was fascinating to see that. Some people don't like it. Some people enjoyed it. I was there for it. Kevin did not enjoy it at all. Josh Spiro popped in. Good to see you, Josh. Thank you for
Josh.
Kevin's
popping
favorite
in.
Indiana Jones is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
No.
Louis says Indiana Jones and the Saucermen from Mars. That's the movie George Lucas wanted to make, and he made it. That's what he's saying. That's going to pretty much do it for us, guys. This is our top 20 ranking of Spielberg films. I want to thank you for listening and being part of this. Amy
which
says,
one we did
nah,
rank
no more
here?
Harrison Ford. Needs to be how we remember Indiana Jones. So she doesn't want it anymore.
The one that you didn't add to the list was Indiana Bones and the Temple of Boom. Can I get some?
I thought it was in Diana Jones, I believe,
Wow.
according to the Josh Hartnett film about him trying not to masturbate.
That's 40 days, 40 nights.
Yes. Yeah, rewatch that. It's in there. Indiana Jones is in there, buddy. Watch it. Anyway, good night, Mom. Good night, Gabe. Thanks for the laughs, Josh. Yeah, thanks. Good night, Mom, by the way. Yeah, in Diana Jones. God.
I love that that's how it ended.
Yeah.
Bunch of sex jokes. Good night, Mom.
Enrique says, where's this video place you guys go for renting? Enrique, you little pervert, you're going to have to find your own. You're going to have to find your own sweet spot, buddy, because I ain't sharing. I ain't sharing nothing. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of this. Reza, thank you for being a guest on. As always, it's a pleasure. Kevin, thank you for actually showing up. One of our fellow podcasters to be here. I appreciate that. And I showed up as well, so I'm going to thank myself for just being wonderful as usual. I mean, God. Can you get more perfect? I don't know how, but yes, soft clap, soft clap, soft clap. Obviously, I'm full of shit, but thank you for tuning in anyway, guys. We appreciate you. Please check out our sponsor, Splattered Frog, Half's Hot Sauce. And if you get some time, leave a like, give us a follow. Have any comments or questions or anything like that? Even if you don't like a certain episode, just play it in the background. The analytics will say, hey, somebody's watching this, and it'll bump us up. Like, even if it's just the audio podcast, which we put out a lot. We just did one, Reza and I just did one where we talk about celebrity comic books, and then we got on this weird-ass Richard Simmons story where you were, like, at his house, and he was talking to you about Tic Tacs and living another life with him, a past life, and it gets crazy. We're not going to say any more because it gets crazy, and it's well worth checking out. That's one of our audio podcasts you can find on all of our podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you name it, we're on there. Apple Podcasts, find us there. Go enjoy. We have another acetate gate creases our pages. There it goes. It's right behind Reza, the picture.
All I will say is go listen to the podcast and find out what led to this picture of me and Richard Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for tuning in. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you
at the energetic, innocent, but sometimes mysterious comic book shop.